Hey everyone. Today we discuss Onion, a 9.5 scored ad, an unbeatable classic. This film's box office is unbeatable, a cinematic titan. Today we share Little Liz embarrassing tales. He's so poor he budgets his tears. Little Lies penniless yet incredibly handsome, an artist whose summons even came from card scams. To Rusi, he's like the legendary rich girl. Little Lie notices a hint of sadness on Rusi's face, and her friend teases, "Whoa, don't rush. Are you thinking of kissing her?" Rusi goes completely nuts, ripping off her jewelry. She feels like she can't breathe. Marrying that guy, just so she can have his money. Meanwhile, Little Lie is gazing at the stars when suddenly a photographer runs by, followed by a girl. Subtitles. She had a sudden impulse to jump off and end her own life, but unexpectedly, Little Lie arrived, taking off his shoes as if he were about to jump in after her too. He says the water is icy, like a bath, making Rusi chuckle. Hearing this, Rusi decides to drop her worries, and as they hold hands, she turns to go home but slips. Little Lie catches her swiftly and accurately. Rusi cries for help. He reassures, "Don't worry, I'm a pro lifeguard." He pulls her up with all his might. When Shane arrives fast and sees the position, thinking they're acting in a drama, so Little Lie gets tied up. Rusi's fiancé shows up wanting to teach Little Lie a lesson, and Rusi quickly weaves a lie that only makes things. Little Lie actually saves her, and the fiancé has the audacity to offer Little Lie $20 as a thank you. Rusi is boiling mad. Am I really only worth $20? Rusi fumes. The fiancé quickly invites Little Lie to the dinner. What a hilarious consolation. Subtitles. Little Lie knows it's a trap, reluctantly agrees, and finds Rusi flustered upon returning. In Rusi's household, it's like a theatrical performance where the church scenes look more like a comedy. Rusi's family is racing against the clock, with all those ringing bells giving him a headache. Rusi's family is a total farce. They seem completely oblivious to each other's feelings. But Little Lie keeps pursuing freedom while Rusi heads straight for a metaphorical prison. It's like a tragic comedy. Rusi says nobody around her cares, but Little Lie reminds her, "What about your fiancé?" Rusi just smiles and doesn't answer, but when she looks at Little Liz painting, she feels an unspoken connection. They chat enthusiastically, completely unaware of time slipping by. Rusi envies Little Liz's carefree lifestyle. Little Lie teases Rusi and tells her to spit like him, and they end up in a hilarious mess. Just then, Rusi's mom and two ladies walk in on the scene, and it's hilarious. Mom rolls her eyes, while the chubby uncle is friendly and praises Little Lie. What an unexpected twist. He says he's a rags to riches guy too, and lends Little Lie his son's dinner suit to talk about boyfriend strength. Little Lie does a dramatic makeover, and Rusi thinks she's looking at a movie star. Rusi's fiancé mocks Little Lie for his lowly status, but Little Lie is unapologetic, boldly asserting he's broke but living free. In the end, Little Liz sincerely foils the fiancé's plan as he sneakily hands Rusi a note before leaving. Subtitles. Little Lie says, "I'm going to show you what the real art of queuing is." Under Little Liz's lead, everyone in third class is partying like crazy, and Rusi joins in. The fiancé flies into a rage, threatening Rusi if she meets Little Lie, they'll end up on the streets. Rusi eventually gives in, and Little Lie tries to see her but gets stopped by security. On the third day, the captain ignores the warnings, confidently steering the ship. What an optimist. Little Lie sneaks away in disguise just to see Rusi. What a clever move. Meanwhile, Rusi is invited to tour the Titanic and immediately spots a lack of lifeboats. The Titanic designer says the lifeboats are just for show, but Little Lie pulls Rusi aside to confess his love. He passionately makes a confession, but Rusi still turns him down, with her heart in a state of turmoil. She watches her phony mother and the children being taught manners, realizing her own childhood. Then, as if by magic, Little Lie appears behind her. They lean in, and Little Lie tells Rusi to close her eyes, taking her on a romantic adventure. Subtitles. They ascend the railing side by side, getting ready to embrace this classic moment of the chapter. Come on. Open your eyes wide, and it's like waving goodbye to your troubles. On the subtitles, Little Lie shouts, Ruthie. And as a result, Ruthie brings him to her room. She strips down, dons the heart of the ocean, asking Little Lie to paint her a true feast of art. Subtitles, however, Little Lie remained completely focused, ultimately completing the most satisfying work of his life just 6 hours before the ship sank. The butler spots them about to leave, and they dash through the crowd, racing to the deck, ready to fly away. The lookout sees this scene and wishes them well, but the next second, bam, an iceberg. Crew responds quickly, but that iceberg just knocks on the door. Talk about iceberg collision comedy. Everyone is panicking. If they crash, Titanic is going straight to the bottom. They just want an ice cold beer right at this point. All they can do is pray for a miracle to pull off an epic comeback.